a grooving. I wish that my love was alive. Just to turn it off, you can turn me on, baby. I feed off the light of the moon. It's a supermoon and I'm into you. All night you deny me attention.
What's going on, you guys? It's The Throne. We're back, episode 98 or 99. We're up there, man. We're almost at 100. And we're doing a little something different. It's going to be my first remote interview, so forgive me if there's any kinks. We're going to do the first time with video and audio. And tonight, I have Peter Baldwin joining me. Peter, what's going on, brother?
What up? What up? How you feeling, JC?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling, bro. For those that don't know, Peter, he's based out of Brooklyn now, right?
Yeah, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Oh shit, Bedstudy from Bed-Stuy. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of lit. But
yeah.
Just to give a quick background, man. Like, I met Peter 10 years ago at a show he was opening up for Aloe Black. You know, if you know that Avicii song, I think it is, and you know who Aloe Black is, you know.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you earlier, you were one of the first locals that I kind of met up close and personal, got to go to a show and everything, and it really kind of kicked that gear into overdrive. I was 14 at the time. I'm 23 now.
Okay.
So it really inspired me, man. It was really cool, and you moved your whole operation over to New York, man. How's that been for you?
Well, I think at the time, just going back, at the time, the Aloe Black the Aloe Black song that was known was the
I Need a Dollar.
I Need a Dollar, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was on the How to Make It in America soundtrack. And
Okay.
or like it was the intro for that show, you know, the one with Kid Cudi on HBO.
Yeah.
I think so. So that was like kind of his come up right after that show right after the show we played at Back Booth. He kind of got
single.
on.
That single was the first song I heard from him. But that whole album, Good Times, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Good Things.
Yeah, he didn't even really he didn't really talk. He was just about the business at that Back Booth show, which kind of like rubbed me the wrong way at the time. But I get it. He was just handling what he had to do. He wasn't
Word?
he's a businessman, so I respect it.
Can we like pick your brain about that a bit? Like, what rubbed you the wrong way? Like, was there a specific moment? I mean, I'm sure you're over that shit now, but was there a specific moment?
Yeah, it's just like I mean, the show was super small for anyone that's ever been to Back Booth. The venue's really tiny anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if 50 people come to your show at Back Booth, it felt like
It's packed, bro.
it feels packed.
Yeah.
But we didn't even have that. He was the headliner, but no one had really heard of him at that point. So the show was pretty empty, and I didn't really get to chop it up with him beforehand. I met all the musicians in that band.
Yeah.
And then right after the show, it was just kind of like a real quick brush, like good show, like nice to meet you, but there wasn't really any genuine connection there.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have a tour manager though, you know, so he was just like chasing his own money after the show and stuff like that.
You got to do that.
Yeah, so it's really just at the time I was like, oh man, that's weird. Like I would have taken more time, but you know, in hindsight, you don't have a tour manager. You got to get to the next city. Like I'm a local act, you know, I hang out at this venue all the time anyway. So it's like all I'm doing is driving 20 minutes home, you know. It's just different. I wish we could have chopped it up because we were my manager James Truitt at the time, we just call him True. We had kind of started developing a relationship with Stone's Throw Records that had Aloe Black, Mayor Hawthorne, who else? Dame Funk.
Mm-hmm.
So in this, I don't remember exactly when these shows happened, but in that whole era, I, you know, played with like 3 or 4 different artists off of that label. So it's kind of like looking forward to chopping it up, but it's no love lost. We're just like, you know.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. I hear you.
Yeah.
In hindsight, you know, is 2020, and when you get yourself more involved in the business, I mean, moving all the way up the East Coast, and I mean, at that point, you're working to live, so you can't not be about the money and not be about the business.
Yeah, exactly. Which brings me back to your question: how's it been going? That when I made that move, man, I was maybe a bit younger than you are now. I was I want to say maybe I was 20, 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know how to take it seriously. We didn't move the whole operation because the album that we had just recorded with all the guys, you talked about Rex, Geo, Willie,
Mm-hmm.
Abel, my homie John Paul, this other kid, Michael Schmidt, who still lives in Central Florida, I think. He was a percussionist on the record. None of them moved with me. It
Yeah,
was just,
yeah.
it was just me and True. So I got to New York, and I was a little bit weird about trying to recreate the music. Like trying to rehearse with like
Other
different
people
bands.
and like teach them the material.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a bit it's weird because the way that I make music is not like really uh it's not traditional. It's not like I'm writing out charts for guys that I don't know who come in and like just play the part, it's like
Yeah,
they're the whole vibe. And well, you saw it, there was like we were like a
definitely.
band. It had my name on it, but we were a band, so
Right,
it's
right,
hard
right.
to capture that sound all over again. I ended up I played a few shows. Like I did a show with Chrisette Michelle. Did a show with Consequence.
Oh wow.
Some other. I ended up like doing some session writing.
Really?
At this studio in Soho. So I did a couple sessions with Consequence. I did a session with a session or two, I forget, with like Mario Winans and stuff like that. So I started like kind of getting more into that world. And I don't know. I guess at a certain point, I just like got a bit like kind of cut it all off and took a break for about 3 years before I started playing music again.
For real?
Um, yeah, yeah. And
Wow.
the only reason I did start again, I was just being a knucklehead, really. Like that's all it is. The only reason I started again is I had a birthday coming, probably my 27th or something like that. And there's this bar down the street from a job I had in Dumbo, and I just asked, "Hey, can I just have, you know, the room on Sunday? I'm just gonna like play a couple songs and hang out with my friends." And it went well enough for them that they were like, "Just do one Sunday a month." So then I started doing that gig, and I ran it faithfully for I think 4 years, and it
Oh,
kind of like got me back into like the mode of like performing and yada yada yada.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you
So
became like kind of like the hub for a bit for like the central little local community maybe? Like was it just acoustic sets or did you have whole bands up there?
nah, just acoustic sets. So the space was pretty small, so it was just me sitting on a stool, like like OG style. It was like when I first started
Like
playing
open
music
mic
with.
night?
Yeah, totally. So it felt like an open mic night. I had a couple people get on with me. Kaylee Baker, when she was staying up north, she actually did a show with me at this little spot. Kaylee Baker out of Orlando.
Mm.
Other than that, yeah, no, I just ran it by myself like every week, just like doing some covers, doing some originals. It just let me do whatever I wanted to. So I scat for 15 mintes, like,
Hey
like,
yo, for
and
real? Just
I'm not taking any requests. For some reason, they dug it.
Yo, man,
They
that's
dug
so.
it.
Don't you hate when people give you requests? Like I don't
I'm
know.
not a karaoke machine, man.
I feel you on that. I've never heard that analogy, but it's like the rudest shit you could do,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because I've been on both ends of it as a younger dude, maybe 14 or 15. I like there was a band that was really like funk kind of style, right? And
Yeah.
at one point, my dumb ass yelled out, "Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers, bro!" Whatever, and like my cousin was like, "Bro, don't do
don't.
that." And
Yeah.
I learned right there, like that's kind of what you do. And then it happened to me. I was on stage, and it was like a I don't know, it was a tribute for Dimebag Darrell, right?
Uh huh.
It was like his birthday or the day of the day he died was coming up, something like that. So they made the gig like a little tribute for him. So we did a Pantera song, but there was some lady asking us to play some fucking I don't know what, bro, but like she was wasted, and it's like my singer actually kneeled down to like listen to what she had to say. I was like, bro, don't listen to this lady. Come on, man. Let's go on with the set.
That's Florida, man. That's also I mean, people are crazy everywhere, but Florida is a different level. People used to walk up on me like onto the microphone and like ask me for something. Florida's wild.
Did you stick to Orlando, or did you ever come down to Miami? Because in Miami it gets rowdy, man.
Yeah, I played a couple shows in Miami. I don't know where I was, man.
You ever play Churchill's?
I don't think so.
That place.
I don't know where I was. I don't know where I was. It was like some nicer clubs though, I think.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of that sprinkled.
Yeah, Heineken's were like $12.
Oh, fuck that.
It was
they didn't even give you a discount for playing there?
Bro, I don't think so. I don't.
Yeah, they said fuck you, bro.
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I don't remember drink tickets in Miami though.
Miami be like that though. I don't ever get drink tickets when I play Miami. I usually get drink tickets when I play like out of town, like Orlando, Tampa.
Yeah,
Newport
I did a lot
Richie.
of Tampa.
Tampa's fun, man. It's a nice city. It's a different change of pace.
Yeah.
Newport Richie has a decent metal scene right now too. You know.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know anything about metal, so.
Yeah. I know it's
it's its own world. I respect it. I love it. I just don't know anything, you know.
Over the years, man, surprisingly, like I've just gotten more into chiller and just expanded my taste over genres. Like around that time, when you did the Aloe Black show at the back booth, I was listening to a lot of heavy metal, you know what I'm saying, and that kind of expanded me a little bit more into the soul, like kind of I guess R&B type music. But then as I got older, I got more into like the Strokes, Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, I'm looking at your posters up there. You got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I got some Tyler right there.
Yeah,
Tyler.
I see him.
Yeah. That's that album, man. I mean, I could go on for hours about Igor. Like, I recently did a Mac DeMarco cover. I'm a really big Mac DeMarco fan. Got him in the back. And actually, wasn't Anderson .Paak on Stone's Throw for a little bit with No Knowledge
I think so.
or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Another dude that I'm really fucking with right now. Like he the way he plays and sings his melodies, man, like so on point.
He has a little pocket drumming, right?
Yeah. But he also throws in these fills with rudiments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like real soulful fills that he just plays tight without missing a beat. And it's gotten me into kind of into experimenting. Like in my band, I do a lot of vocal harmonies as well as play the drums. And I've always liked singing. One of the first things I did was sing at a talent show in the 5th grade. I sang some Linkin Park song.
Nice.
So originally I was more of a singer than I was before I got into percussion and into drums and stuff.
Yeah, I was vice versa.
You started as a percussionist and then went to.
Yeah, I started playing drums in church and then started singing.
Interesting. You have a really good voice, man. When did you figure out that, like, okay, I actually sound half fucking decent?
My friend, a childhood friend of mine, Cody, was just like, and I went to Church of God in Christ Church. So like in Pentecostal church, it's kind of like, if you're not familiar, it's like what the movies try to parody when it's like black churches that are really spirited and musical.
So just over the top.
Yeah, like music is like a really big part. Like gospel music, a huge part of the culture. And my childhood friend Cody always kind of just pushed me to do it. You know, they'd be like make me go up and sing with him when I didn't want to, stuff like that. So yeah, he
how old were you then? I'm sorry.
I mean, we grew up together, so I mean, he was part of my life from maybe me being 8 years old to 18 years old. You know.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So we had like a 3-piece like harmony gospel boy band.
No disrespect.
Yeah, I think we called it. Yeah.
No, what's it called?
3 testimonies or testimony.
Okay. I mean, you got to be creative with it.
Yeah.
You guys only had one song? It broke out there for a sec.
Yeah, it was our thing. That one song, and then we did like some covers and stuff like that. And yeah, it was fun.
So did you have dance moves too, or were you just were you
Bro,
just doing the singing?
I still don't have dance moves.
Yo, dancing is one of those. As a drummer, you think I'd have rhythm, right? But
Yeah,
dancing
no.
is a whole nother beast.
No, it's its own thing. I love dancers, it's a whole nother class.
Yeah, definitely. And doing this podcast, like it's given me a whole nother level of appreciation for other arts other than
Mhm.
musicians. Because going out to shows, um, as far as over here with specifically, I guess with metal being kind of like a niche thing nowadays, like it's not as big as it was back in maybe
Mhm.
'80s and '90s and whatnot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's
I,
more of a
I,
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say I wish it was. I wish it was a big thing.
Yeah, it is what it is. Trends
Yeah.
come and go. But regardless, like because of that fact, it's such a tight knit like community that
Mhm.
you see a lot of the same faces at shows.
Mhm.
So getting to see some different shit is always like um I guess pleasantly surprising. You know what I mean? That's why I try and go to different shows, open mics and stuff like that. Or there's like a dude who does like chill hop or lo-fi type stuff, and he does
Okay.
the same thing like an open mic where he lets people come and bring their setup and fucking make beats live, whatever, and just chill at this place called Las Rosas down in Miami.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a blossoming spot. But actually over here, just completely off topic, we're actually like with the Rona shit, and even before Rona, really, we were dealing with a lot of local spots closing down and shit. Is the local scene
Mhm.
like thriving over there in New York and Brooklyn and shit? Like, there's so many spots. I gotta imagine it's pretty good.
Um, it yes and no. Um, there's like your babies all rights and your elsewheres and stuff like that are kind of like destination places for people to
Baby's
play.
all right. Oh man, just a quick
Yeah.
sidebar. I was in New York for New Year's, and
Yeah.
I was watching the Strokes and Mac DeMarco at Barclays, and
Mhm.
I was on Reddit a couple hours after the show. After I made it home to Washington Heights, I just made it back up all the way up to Uptown Manhattan.
Who you staying with in Washington Heights, bro?
My cousin, man, same dude who went with me to back booth. He moved to New York, pulled the same move as you to pursue music at 17, and he went to
I
Manus
I used to
to.
stay I used to stay at 158 Broadway.
I can't tell you where he stays, just
Okay.
but he does stay in Washington Heights. So I made it all the way back up there, bro. It's like 2 a.m, New Year's night. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's technically New Year's Day, and I look on Reddit, Post Malone, Julian Casablancas, and like the whole Strokes. They were all chilling at Baby's All Right in Brooklyn after, and I
Mhm.
had no fucking idea that was the spot, bro. If I had known, like I had stuck around for a bit, like maybe I'll run it, but like if I had known that was the spot, bro, I could have met them there. And like the
Yeah,
Strokes is
there's
like my
always
all-time
somebody
favorite
there.
band, bro. I've
Yeah.
never heard of that spot. I wish I knew, Peter. I wish I knew.
Yeah.
You don't understand, bro. I laid down in bed. I was like, man, what a great night. And then I see a bunch of fans posting selfies with the
That's
Strokes and
FOMO, man.
shit.
Don't
I
worry
was
about
like,
it.
anyway. So that's one of the local popping spots right now.
I mean, it's kind of a staple. Like it's been around for I don't know how long now. But then they, my band Bed Study had a who I would love to talk about at some point.
Oh
My
yeah, we'll
band
get to
Bed,
that.
yeah, my band Bed Study had a show at Back Booth recently. Just to answer your question, and they had opened another venue in Manhattan. The name escapes me right now, and that venue was closing like literally within months of opening. And so what they did is they moved all of their sold out shows from that venue over to Back Booth and just like pushed us out the way. The whole thing was like really a bad communication experience for me. Like I love Babies All Right, but to answer your question, like there are those places that are doing well, and then there are places that are just kind of they come and they go, But it's really the spirit of New York City that's kind of everlasting, Like I'm pretty confident that even though a lot of local businesses, whether they be restaurants, which I also work in, or entertainment venues, like I know a lot of them aren't going to come back, but the spirit of like entertaining and being creative is not going to go away. We're always going to find a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I get that. So let's get into that. Your project now. How did Bedstudy come to be? Were these guys that you knew before you made the move over there, or did you
Yeah.
kind of just meet them?
No, we've been in each other's circle in Orlando for a long time. Let's see, that vaudeville album was like what 2010, I
I think
think.
11.
Okay, so 2011. Dave, who is the other bald gentleman, and he just had a baby. Congratulations, Dave.
Congrats, Dave. Come on the show.
Um, yeah, her name is oh man, I forgot the baby's name. Cecilia. She's cute.
Shouts out to Cecilia.
Yeah, Cecilia. Congrats, Dave and Lara. And anyway, so Dave was the uh, head engineer, like kind of a studio manager at the studio, North Avenue Studios, where vaudeville was recorded. And he was also in a few different projects that came out of the Orlando scene. Ranson, the drummer in that band, drummer and collaborator, and a really good friend of mine, was in one of my favorite local bands from Orlando from back in the day called Mirror Pal.
Mm-hmm.
They were sick. They were like Radiohead from Florida vibes. It was cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so he was in that band, and like we kind of like been playing the same shows. At one point, we had the same manager very briefly, and we were roommates at one point and everything. So we've always been friends. And then I went to a show in New York years and years later at this venue called Berlin, which I hope comes back because it's so tight.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Dave in the audience because a mutual friend, Jerry, was playing bass for someone at this show. And so we both had the same show. We catch up. I'm like, how you been, man? Yada, yada. Where you living? He's like, oh, I'm in Bed-Stuy. I'm like, no way, dude. Like we live right next to each other. He's like,
That's
yo,
wild.
this is like at the end of, man, I'm getting the years mixed up. This must have been the end of 2016 going into 2017, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so right off the bat, like to start out the year, I would just walk like 10 minutes to his crib, and we just started like making music, in his bedroom or whatever. And then not much later, Ranson was up visiting from Orlando, visiting New York, and I caught up with him like one night and just made it a point to pretty much bully him into moving.
Wow,
Just like,
dude, you must be a good fucking salesman then.
we just bullied him. I just made everyone. I must have called him like almost every day. Every time I saw him, I went really, really hard to make him move up to New York. I hope he doesn't regret it.
Is it? I mean, obviously you can't really give 100% the perspective, but was it hard to just drop everything and move, or was it a process? Like, did he kind of take his time with it?
Man, he wanted to come. I just
Who
had to
doesn't
push
want to
him.
live in New York? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I just had to push him over the edge. That's all. He wanted to be here.
Just give him that gentle nudge.
He wanted to be here, but Ranson's more responsible than me. Where like I'll be like, or at the time I'm like, all right, I want to be in New York. Like that's it. I'm going. I'm getting on a train. I'm getting on a bus. I'll be there. Ranson's more responsible than me. He's gonna try and figure out like the money aspect. He's talking about like how long it's gonna take to pay off his college loans. I'm like, dude, you can live in Timbuktu. You're still gonna have college loans, bruh. Just get up here. Just make it happen.
It's facts. It's facts.
Just let's go.
So your sound, let's get into that. I noticed, first of all, everyone in the band does multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have a mix of like MIDI instruments and live instruments and
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of synth elements in there. What are some of your biggest so cheesy, but some of your biggest inspirations, like to get that sound? Who are some of the people you listen to?
It's hard for me to answer that question because we're three-headed monsters. So it's like,
It's kind of
like,
just a collaborative effort.
Yeah, it's just like a huge collaborative effort. You know, like I could never know everything that I could open my phone and try to find. You know, I think we made a bed study influences playlist one time.
That's
Cause I
funny.
can't really speak for Dave. You know,
Yeah, of
but
course,
here
of course.
we got Rodalius, Terry Riley, Rosenau and Sanborn. Let's see what else we got in here.
Well, I guess I can ask you
Yeah,
this personally.
Karangbin. If that's how you say it, Karangbin has been a
That's
really
that.
big.
That's that band with that chick and the black dude and the white dude with the long hair.
They're just
And the
like an
beard.
instrumental. I don't know what they look like,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh, I saw some. There's some video about a Friday, some song called
Hmm.
something Friday, some shit.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
know,
dope.
but they're fire. They're fire.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's real fire.
yeah.
But no, I guess I can ask you this. When it comes to the sound from Bed Study, I mean, it is. You can say that it is different from your Peter Baldwin
Hmm.
sound. Uh, so I guess for you personally, did you make a point to get away from that sound and do something different, or is it something that just kind of fell naturally?
The whole process of like making music with those guys is it's been pretty natural. Like sometimes I actually do just reach into like my songbook and then we'll just like reproduce a song like together and do that. Or other times, for example, the song "Anyone" is a probably a song I wrote like in 2013, never released, whatever.
Hmm.
I showed Dave the demo, we reproduce it, like, and it's one of my favorite tunes. And then other songs like Nil and Arms Away especially, that was just like coming together and like having a like our own vibe and everything. So I don't know if I necessarily put in the effort to make sure there's a distinction, um, because you know we keep a pretty open mind about where ideas are coming from and all that, and like no one's really I could Dave will put out his own music, I can put out my own music. We're not really like that caught up with trying to make sure that you know the sound of Bed Study is separate from everything else, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. A lot of the times when I ask bands questions like, "Okay, what kind of genre are you?" I usually get the same answer, like, we don't really want to label ourselves or put ourselves in a box,
Yeah, we like vapor soul for ours. We like that
Vapor
term.
soul. Why that?
Yeah.
How'd you come up with that?
It's a weird Spotify playlist we ended up on, and we're like, yeah, it's a vibe.
It's a
That's a vibe.
vibe.
I like
That's funny,
that.
man. So let me more general music related. You've talked about. I noticed a lot. You mentioned having managers. So I guess it sounds like in your career you've had multiple managers thus far.
No, just one. It
Just
was
one.
yeah, just James Truitt. I just call him True. That's my big brother.
So I guess my question to you is, do you feel like to make it in this business nowadays that's something that's necessary, or if you're poignant and make booking your own stuff and being about the business, maybe like a Aloe Black, you could do it that way nowadays, or is it 100%
Yeah,
necessary?
I mean, I think everyone just works differently. Like I I don't have a manager now, but I
Hmm.
definitely, for my personality probably wouldn't get a lot done like by myself. I procrastinate. So everyone works differently. Like I know that I'm gonna give you my all like when it comes to like writing a song. Like I have my own process, but I'm not like I don't have a 9 to 5 like mentality. I have a good work ethic, but I'm not really like uh I'm not a manager. So
Right, right.
in the structure that I'm in right now, it's helpful that there are three of us, you know, because we can get things done when we need to, like as a three-headed monster. Like, hey, Peter, can you answer that email? Or like, you know, Dave, are you on that? Ranson, yada yada. We can attack things that way. If you're Aloe Black, you know, and you're just like a machine and you like to move that way, like James Brown or whatever, then like that's what it is. And then there's other people that have had great success, you know, having a manager like Jay-Z. So I think it just depends on like I don't want to call it like work ethic or say the way anyone works is bad, but it just depends on like you know what you're trying to get done and how you want to move. But having a good team around you, I think at some point everyone needs a good team.
Yeah, for sure.
You need people in your corner. You need people to handle the things that you might not be able to get to.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's just I guess I can only speak for myself and some of aspects of, I guess, my genre is like a lot of the shows that we play are not paid. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I'll be the first to admit it. So um just paying a manager to, I mean, unless it's something that can drastically improve, you know, turnout and like, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? Or maybe like I've heard of people doing pay-ons and just paying to get on a tour with a headlining national act and stuff
Hmm.
and still go nowhere. So it's like nowadays it's so different from even 20 years ago, let's say 2000 or in the 1990s when records sold, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you put on the shelf would sell pretty much. Now people are signing 360 deals and doing this, that, and the third. Like in this space that we're in right now, what do you feel like are some, like, what's the way to be successful nowadays? I mean, what's your plan? Do you guys have a plan? Are you guys just going with the flow? Is it like, are albums viable now is another thing? Like I hear people
Hmm.
say just drop singles. Why are you going to drop 10 songs that maybe only people listen to two, you know?
Yeah, my personal answer to that question, like the
Mhm.
last question, is
I know I
or
threw a
to
lot at you. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. But my answer is like I think Questlove said in some documentary I had to watch at Full Sail or whatever. It was like, there's art and then there's commerce. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason that you make music shouldn't have anything to do with business. Period. Like it's just not what it is. Like some people are going to be successful that way. Like you're going to like drop, like, hey, let's make a hit single, yada yada. And I get it, but I don't think that's the music that lasts. That's not the music that I want to make. I make music because like that's how I express myself. I have to do it. I'm like a bird, like why do birds sing? Because they sing. Period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like as far as like the right kind of deal to get in, I mean I guess it depends on like what you're going for. Like I like the deal that Bedstudy has right now because it's pretty much about accountability. Where our deal is a even split on the revenue off of streamings, but like we keep all our masters. Like we can do what we want. We can release whatever music we want at any time. Um, and it's like
That's
it
good.
was a good deal. Yeah, it was a good deal to start with, But it's
That's
I don't
another
know.
thing too, is back in the day, I mean, from my understanding, obviously I'm only 23. Um, from my understanding, record deals were there because studio time costs money, distribution costs money, just making physicals costs money. So they're there to front you the money so that when you do go platinum or diamond or whatever, you can pay them back.
Yeah,
Nowadays, people are mixing, mastering, and recording entire albums in their bedroom that sound pretty good. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Through Ableton and MIDIs and plugins and this and that sound pretty damn fire. And there is no need for like physical distributions because you got YouTube, you got SoundCloud, you got
yeah. Soldier Boy broke the model. When Soldier Boy dropped, it was like that song wasn't even produced well. It didn't even sound good, and it just proved like the kids don't care. The kids don't care. Like what I'm saying, make music that you like. Like it's like Kanye said, it's about ideas. It's like the kids hear the ideas and they dig it, then like that's what it is. They're just
Man,
gonna
that song was such a fucking, oh man, it was a force.
yeah.
That cranked that, right?
Yeah.
Oh
it bro-
man.
you ever notice at the end of the song the loop is backwards? Like he
No.
got off. Yeah. There's
It
no
that bad?
I'm not calling it bad. I'm just
No,
saying
no, but
like
I'm
I don't
saying like production wise. I mean, there's certain qualities.
yeah,
Like, come
it's
on,
like
man. I mean, come on, dude.
I I would have noticed that detail before I dropped it and it would have
Right,
bothered me.
right.
But it didn't matter. And I'm not saying that like not being detailed or not making music to the best of your ability doesn't matter. It does matter. Like you should. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure,
If
for
people
sure.
do notice, but if what you want is success, then like if what you want is success, then hire a team of writers hire a manager, like do your payola bidding, get like pop off on Instagram, like everyone like you know what I'm saying? Like do all those things, like be that
Right.
person if you want to be that person, and more power to you, like in all love. But if you want to make good music, then like then all it is like, you know, like
So do you?
have some respect, right? Good music.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a basic common respect for the craft
Yeah.
that people who are musicians believe in. You know what I mean? And it's a little weird now that you have a culture of people who aren't musicians that are making money making music.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess me personally, just being honest, sometimes that shit is like disheartening to me, you know,
I feel that.
because
Yeah.
um, you know, not to hate or nothing, even though I've on many times I've acknowledged that I am a hater.
Yo, me
Uh,
too. Not even not even I can't lie.
Yo, so I've acknowledged it many times that I'm a hater, but just not trying to sound like a hater in this regard. It's like, man, I bust my ass, like, sitting in the studio on the kit, fucking take 15, make sure that
Mhm.
clicker's right, and releasing an album or EP and not getting traction or shows, venues closing down, just shit not going the way you think it's gonna go, and then you
Mhm.
have 6ix9ine drop Gooba, and
Yeah.
it just blows up and he's making bank, and it's like you got nothing to do but just sit there and be like, how? But how?
Yeah.
And it's like you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to make a fool of yourself to make money, but at the same time, it's like you pour your heart and soul into something and it gets 6 listens or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not, and I'm not saying that's accurate. We get a little more than 6. We get 8.
Well, that brings me back to like, how you started the show, because then, 10 years later, someone's going to hit you up and say like, "Hey man, that had a really good effect on me." And you know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you value,
Yeah, yeah, and I guess I feel like I just kind of had to start right now, as you said that live on the show.
Yeah.
I kind of I do view my podcast that way. Like I don't have thousands of listeners a month. I don't have ad partners or people paying me to do advertisements, but I'm still here trying. Well, with the Rona it's different, but before the Rona I was consistently here every
Yeah.
Monday with someone new, sitting down, like interviewing, like putting myself out there, getting to know people I wouldn't previously have gotten to know, because me personally, I'm just an introverted person. I deal with my shit
Yeah.
and I go home. I don't mingle too much at shows unless I know the people. So getting myself out there, and I do it for however many listens, I don't care. You know what I mean? And to give my friends in my community, people whose music I care about and whose art period I care about, to give them a platform to express themselves, and
That matters, man.
you know.
Yeah, that matters.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
I guess my point is I should view my band that way.
Mhm.
I should put on those goggles where it's like, regardless if people fuck with this music or not, I should do it because that's what I want to do. And sometimes
Mhm.
I find myself distracted from that vision and thinking about, being a rock star or
Totally. Me
the
too,
next
bro.
big single, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, or just what it would be like to be recognized by somebody, man. Like you hear stories like Tyler the Creator, who started with Bastard, 17
Mhm.
years old, making all his own beats and stuff, and they sounded like nothing like Igor or Flower Boy do now.
Yeah.
It was his starting point, and then he evolved and evolved and evolved. But he had so much success from that first EP.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to comprehend. And it, like I said, I let myself get down, and I get in my own head about it. Does this ever happen to you? I know you said you kind of agree on some things.
Yeah, I think sometimes it feels like, for me that manifests in me like starting to like mentally plan to do other things and make other things, like work. Like I lately, like especially living in New York, I always feel like, all right, B, I gotta have a plan. Like what is it? What it is?
Yeah, for sure, for
Like
sure.
what's gonna happen? At some point I was talking about like, you know, having a little secret hole in the wall in my apartment where I just got all the cash. I got the cash, and you know what I'm saying? I got my rainy day stash and like and my 22 and all that, but that's not me. And it's like maybe sometimes I think about like, you know, 15, 20 different like restaurant ideas or like show ideas. Or, like, what if I did this? What if I did
Just
this?
Birdman hand rub, just
Just
scheming, just scheming.
all just like trying to hustle real hard all the time.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say everything is meaningless and all that kind of like mumbo jumbo. But it's just like there's really, you know, there's I don't really want to carry like any guilt on me or any like woe is me or any of those vibes, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna make the next track. When it comes, it comes, you know? Like
Yeah,
when I feel
that's big
yeah.
facts, bro. Big facts.
Yeah, when I feel inspired, I'm gonna make the next thing, and then that'll be that. Like I don't care if I'm 45, 55, 65 years old. Like I'm probably gonna I'm probably gonna drop something. It's been a minute, but I'm probably still gonna be dropping.
Hey man, 2062. Make sure y'all check out that new Peter Baldwin tape.
Yeah,
It'll be on datpiff.com.
it's gonna happen. At that point, I'll just astral project my musical ideas straight from my head
That's
internet.
a thing. That's gonna be a thing. That's definitely gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess it does. Like I said, I have those moments, but I do try and center back and get back to the goal of just enjoying what I do. And the reason I'm even doing this in the first place is to just kind of be able to say that I gave it a shot. You know, even if at the end of the day I'm not it's not my career, or you know, I'm not an established artist or whatever the fuck that's called.
Yeah.
You know, or what you consider that. I feel like I'm not gonna have any regrets because I went out and did it. And I feel like if I went to college just because my parents wanted me to do it, or because I wanted to say I did it, that wouldn't be, I would be selling myself short, because I wouldn't have given what I've given to my music, and I would have never started this podcast, I don't think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just feel like I value those things more than I value anything I could have gotten out of doing that, because I know that what I wanted to do was either play music or this is actually not even my first podcast. So I could say that podcasting and doing interviews has been a passion of mine for a while. Originally,
You're nice with it too.
I do my best.
You're nice with it, yeah.
I appreciate it. But my original podcast was about Yu-Gi-Oh! So we're just gonna leave that over there. And I feel like I'm better suited doing this. You know what I mean? Regardless if I'm not the most famous podcast, if I'm not the next Joe Rogan or Adam whatever, no jumper dude.
Yeah.
Adam 22, that's his fucking name. If I'm not the next that guy, it's whatever. As long as like maybe 10 years from now, someone hits me up is like, yo man, you did that interview like you said, and it really meant a lot or whatever.
Yeah.
That's really what matters to me. And leaving all this stuff here, it'll always be here. If you put something on the internet, it's there forever.
Unfortunately.
Good and bad, you know, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But no, go ahead.
No, I was saying, like, you know, that being said, like everything that we just said, it also is like, you know, an encouragement to like work harder than you did the day before. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yeah, because a lot of people that find success, like in like releasing their music to the masses, like you can't knock the fact that, you know, they also work really, really hard.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it. I don't know who does and who doesn't. You know, I don't know anyone personally, but I know that a lot of work is involved. When I was recording with Consequence, like that guy is just a machine. He's constant. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so there is that encouragement, you know, to like reflect and like being like, you know, like whatever, you know, hasn't happened for me. You know, it's probably all on me too, and like I can like work a little bit harder, and every day I wake up I'm just like, there's another opportunity to just do it better than you did yesterday, you know?
Yeah, that's true, man.
Yeah.
I could definitely work a little harder too.
Yeah.
And that's something that you got to do just in life, man. Hold yourself accountable for shit.
Yeah,
you know what
true.
I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
A lot of the times I'll cut myself some slack, like, I can eat that ice cream, or I'll edit that tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, or I'll lay down that track tomorrow, whatever it be. But like, when you actually hold yourself accountable, man, like it feels good when you get that shit done and it wasn't as hard as you made it out to be in your head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or like I feel that way about gigs too. Like if I find myself getting really, really nervous before a show, like one of the biggest venues I got to play down here. If you're from here, you know about it. Revolution Live, Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got to play there last
That's
April.
sick. That's sick.
It was for like a showcase thing, and I used that to network. I met a couple people that ended up being podcast guests later. But playing that, just being on that stage, you know, and being backstage and seeing all the posters and shit, like shows that I went to in high school, and like
Yeah.
being on that
That's
stage
cool.
there,
That's cool.
it's wild, man. And I've tried to get booked at back booth. You know, I've tried to move around, and when I was up in New York recently, I've been scoping out spots, you know, to try and bring my band up there. I saw Littlefield. I think it's in
Okay.
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
Littlefield,
Okay.
and then right across from Littlefield is Lucky 13.
Mm-hmm.
Super sick bar. I love that place. I have one of their shirts. And I would love to fucking play there, man. It's a sick metal spot, dude. Like they have the stage in the back where it really opens up once you get in there.
Yeah.
Same with Littlefield, man. Littlefield is like packed as fuck, and then you get back to the stage area, and you're like, "Where the fuck? Where is this hiding?"
It's
like a
crazy how many venues Brooklyn really has. I'm pretty sure if you thought of Brooklyn as its own city, which you kind of could just based on the population.
Almost each borough,
I
really.
Yeah, but I feel like Brooklyn probably it might have like the most venues as a city anywhere in the United States. It's pretty intense.
I think there's like this renaissance right now that's going on in Brooklyn as far as
And
like with
huge
music.
venues. Yeah.
And I don't know where the fuck it came from, but those hipsters, man, they love it. And they jack the prices up of that fucking area like a motherfucker. I bet you talk about Bed-Stuy. You talk about you live in Bed-Stuy. If you told me you live in Bed-Stuy 30 years ago, I'd have been like, Bed-Stuy?
That's 30 years, bro.
Bed-Stuy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If
And
things
now-
don't change in 30 years, that's weird.
Yeah, yeah. But then you have the other side of the argument where it's like, man, you priced out all the people that used to live there.
For sure.
Gentrification and whatnot. But that's a
Yeah.
topic for another day, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's just
Do you like living in Brooklyn?
yeah, I love it.
When you first got there, though, compared to Florida, I mean, the change of pace for you must have been crazy, right?
Yeah, it was intense, man. I thought I was gonna get run over in Grand Central Station.
Just walking around?
I'm not from Florida. I'm from Anchorage, Alaska. I was born and raised there till I was 18.
For real?
So Florida was already a lot of people for me.
Wow.
It was like there's like I think a little over 1 million people in Orlando compared to the 300,000 in Anchorage, which is probably the whole state is like what less than 500,000 people.
That's wild.
So yeah, so then finally getting to New York was like intense. And the first thing I noticed was like every single door is a different place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're just driving, door. It's like it's all different spots, houses,
completely different
stores.
Yeah, and then you have the people living on top of the store, which is also my bad for my dog, by the way. I don't know, she must hear something out there.
Oh,
But
all good.
that was a real weird thing. What's funny though is I'm the opposite. I was born in the Bronx. Didn't live there that long. I lived there maybe till I was like 2 or 3, and then my mom moved down here, and I've pretty much been a South Florida kid since then. But I go and visit periodically to go see my cousin, man. I was trying to catch a Bedstudy show last time I was out there, and shit just didn't line up.
Yeah, we don't play that often.
Why
It's
not,
like-
man? Is it the style that you guys play is kind of hard to play out live, or?
No, it's not so much that. I think there's a few different factors.
Mhm.
One, we're all in our 30s now, early 30s. Like, you know what I'm saying? People have different like jobs, different, moves they're trying to make. Dave just had a baby, yada yada.
Commitments.
People have commitments. That's one. Two, it's because of our commitments, our prior commitments, we're not gonna be able to tour that much. I hope someday, who knows, but we're not gonna be able to tour that much. So it means that all of our shows, for the most part, are gonna happen in our own community. which is like, so we're not trying to oversaturate people with the same set. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of like planned our shows based on like something, like some move we made. Oh, we just released an EP. We just put out a video. We just did this. We follow it up with the show. So that was like the game plan instead of just, you know, playing over and over again, because the turnout is better. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you know, we blow up all of our social media and pay for the PR and all that kind of stuff, try and get a feature in paper magazine, video just dropped, yada yada. And then it's just like the hype as far as like going to the show is different for people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
no,
get
I
a better,
totally feel that.
yeah, you just get like a better turnout, you know?
And when you speak on, you know, oversaturating people with the same set, I find even some of the people that I'm really cool with, man, is like if I know that they're gonna play the same set that I saw last weekend, it's like I'm less inclined to go to a show. I gotta be
Yeah,
honest with you.
yeah. It's like, why do it? You know, don't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and that's kind of why I liked the lineup that I had for a while. I don't have the same lineup I had originally. We had a consistent lineup for like a good 3 years, where we had maybe like 3 or 4 different sets, like A, B, C, and D sets that were like different mixes and matches. Because usually it was 2 different tunings. We're complicated, man. Fucking, we had 2 guitarists, me,
How
and
many people?
drums. It was 5. The most solid lineup we had was 5.
Mm-hmm.
The bassist was the singer. We had a keyboardist, me, and then 2 guitars. So at some point there was a key switch. The guitars had to switch songs or switch guitars for the next song. So we'd have a lot where like, all right, well, let's play the C's with the D's, and then the next set it'll be the D's with the B's or whatever. And we'll mix
Okay.
and match set. So that way every time that someone saw us, you weren't seeing the exact same set that you saw.
Mhm.
Even if we played 2 nights in a row, we would play A and B sets. You know what I'm saying? So,
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because
I
that's
mean,
a good
like,
point, man. You do get
yeah,
better
just
turnout.
yeah. So it was just for the turnout. You know what I'm saying? Like, and and also like I'm not that crazy about I like making the music more than playing it live. I'm being That's
Really?
just me. That's me. I love
That's the
making
first time I've heard that.
I love making the music, but like just the day of show is like
A little stressful.
it's a long day.
Yeah, yeah. It's
You-
because you're thinking about it from the moment you wake up till the moment
yeah.
you're on stage, right?
Yeah, even in your own city, and like as a New York musician, they're long days. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna drop if I'm playing a show, if I'm headlining a show and I know I'm gonna play at like 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'm gonna work that day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, same
So
here, man.
so my days will look something like, you know what I'm saying, like one of the previous jobs that I had, you know, working from like 7:30 in the morning to like 4:30 on my feet. Like then you rush, you know what I'm saying? First of all, I brought my gear to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck.
Now I'm like rushing to like Brooklyn, wherever from Manhattan. You gotta like make the sound check, get something to eat, get changed, and then you just sit. You just sit, and that part makes me crazy because it's
Just
like,
waiting.
yeah, it's like if you're gonna be the last person to play, you're the first person to sound check. So you're gonna be sound checking at 5 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And then after you're done, now you're just waiting for the next 2 bands to sound check, and then you're waiting for them to play, and then you're gonna play, and then after that, now you gotta do like all the breakdown, and then you gotta talk to everybody, and you gotta sit more, and then you gotta bring all your gear back to wherever it needs to go. You know, it's a long day.
It's a lot, man. No, for
It's
sure, for sure.
and and like you said earlier, and you probably didn't get paid.
Correct.
So,
And if you're dealing with someone particularly scummy, you may or may not have to have paid to get on the show, you know. And
yeah,
what they tell you is, hey, man, here's 150 tickets,
yeah,
and if you sell them, you're good, and if you don't, here's the bill.
yeah.
And yeah, I stopped dealing with those people a long time ago, man.
Promoters, man, we do our own shows. We don't even talk to promoters.
And that's the biggest thing that I see here is at first it was a really, really big local promoter. Shout out to DJ Oski. You know what I'm saying? I got no problem with him. He's been on the show a few times. He gets a lot of flack because he is a popular local promoter. But talking to him and being behind the scenes a little bit, it kind of gives me a little more appreciation for the headache that they deal with on their end as well. But at the
I can
same time,
imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody deals with headaches that other people aren't aware of. You know what I mean? So I try and take everything with a grain of salt, you know, because you never know what somebody's dealing with. But we've had bands putting on their own shows more often. Like the singer of a local band out here called Born Beneath. His name is Lou, and he's been putting on his own little lineups, like 8 or 9 bands, real like meat, like trim all the fat, fucking good protein, like solid fucking lineup. It's not 15 bands and 10 of them all sound the same. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
can only speak for, like I said, I can only speak for my genre in metal. You know,
Dude, metal and punk, man, y'all shows are crazy.
and if people come, if they don't, it's the worst, dude. You know how you can't headbang with the sound guy and the
Yeah,
bartender, dude.
that's true.
You can't deliver the same energy. And props to
Yeah,
anybody who can put on a crazy show for nobody. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah,
for
yeah,
me,
totally.
it's hard to get as involved when there's not a crowd there. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's supposed to be like a shared energy thing.
Yeah, for sure, man. And
Yeah.
there's some moments, man, that I'll never forget on stage. And I guess that's why I like the live process more
Mm-hmm.
than writing. I guess more another thing too is specifically drums. They're just kind of meticulous. It's like play to the click.
Mm-hmm.
You must play to the click. If you do not play to the click, there will be problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like in your case, you know, you can sing, you kind of have some freedom with your melodies, you know, guitar. There's a lot of notes to express, and not that you don't play to a clicker. I mean, I'm sure you do.
Yeah. Bed study shows are run off an Ableton session.
For real? So you guys play with in ears?
The boys do, and I'm the
Ah,
only person on stage with a monitor.
that's so weird. You know, we were thinking about because we're like more progressive metal, and we
Yeah.
have like a light show. And for the
Yeah.
longest time, we had
It's the same thing.
well, we actually had like a person manually with a DMX controller who knew all our songs, fucking
Ah.
clicking in. So we for a while we were six people because we brought our own light guy. And I'm talking about smoke machine lights. Like we had our own setup. Like we were super legit. Like about putting on a fucking show, you know. And for a while, he kind of had his own commitments, you know, as people do. And
Mm-hmm.
we are thinking about that. Like, yo, what if we sync it up to an Ableton thing, and we can actually link up all the lights to Ableton and run the light show through that? And
Mm-hmm. That's what we did.
yeah, well,
Or not what we did. That's what Dave did. Go ahead though.
right. Oh yeah. We can definitely get into that though, because we never did it because I was kind of like, as the drummer, like I'm not opposed to playing with a clicker, but I feel like the live feel is supposed to be a tad bit different than the studio feel, and so I just kind of felt like if I had to play with a clicker, first of all, if I fuck up, I mean, fuck. You know what I mean? The light show is
Mm-hmm.
off, then we're off, then it's kind of hard to get back on when you're trying to listen for a click instead of just being in the pocket and feeling it and knowing where you are. So I was kind of against it, and we never did it. But you guys do it, and it seems like you have fun with it. So
Yeah.
your drummer pitched the idea.
No, Branson is the drummer. Dave, if you see us play, like he'll pick up a bass sometimes.
Yeah. I saw him
But
on the synths and bass.
yeah, he's synth and bass. But for the most part, what he's doing is he's running the Ableton session that we're playing off of.
Okay.
So like our sets are like the songs are strung together in one Ableton session. And Dave is like he's a programmer, but he's like meta. Like he makes programs for programmers.
Hmm.
So he's like real sick with it. His wife too.
Right.
They 3D printed these like standing lightsabers, like 4 of them,
Hmm.
and they run through our Ableton session. And so like we have like this light show, like these beams that'll be like 1, 2, and it's pretty sick, like on stage.
That's
It's
cool
pretty
as
fun.
fuck, man.
It's pretty fun. I actually never really get to participate. Like I never know that they're going on.
Yeah.
But then I'll look back at like a video or something. I'm like, oh yeah, it's pretty sick. But so it means that like I have like some freedom, but there's also like some constriction too. Whereas like the vaudeville stuff, you know, like I'm running and jumping like all over the place.
Yeah.
The bed study stuff, like I got a lot of wires.
It's
Like
technical.
yeah, we bring it's only 3 people, but we're bringing like we're pretty streamlined, but still we have to fit on the stage, and especially like when you're playing with other people and there's all this backline going on. by the end of it, like with the lights and all the different gear, it's like I'm pretty stationary. I'm I'm
I
pretty
hear you.
stationary, and I'm just waiting for the day. It's never come. I got some wood, knock on wood. I've never fallen off a stage, but it's tight.
Oh man, I hope you
Yeah,
don't. I hope you don't.
yeah, same.
But yeah, I was always kind of reluctant, just because especially the double kicks, being precise, being so important.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
hard.
like, honestly, dude, like I know me. I'm not gonna play the same tempo every night, you know. I might speed
Mhm.
it up, I might slow it down some nights. It might just be on the vibe, you know what I mean? Or sometimes in the moment it's cool to improvise and do some different shit, you know, and I kind of felt like it would be a little constrictive, and so I kind of pushed back on it. And
Yeah.
since then, keyboardist quit, and then guitarist quit, and then we brought in a new guitarist. Spend like 2 months getting them prepped. Everything's going fine. You know, it's kind of like that thing where that you didn't want to do, which is bring someone in and teach them your material. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But we did it. It was 4 of us and one of him. We're like, fuck it. So we did it. We brought him in. He plays the show. Did amazing. Like, oh
Mhm.
man, it was sick. And like 2 days later, he's like, yeah, guys, I'm out. We're like, yo, we just taught you everything. We get you. You do your first show, you love it, and then you're out. And it's like,
Yeah.
I can appreciate it on the level of his reasoning was, look, I mean, I just know that I'm not as dedicated as you guys, and I'd rather nip it in the bud now than go any farther. But you could have nipped it a little sooner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
why
so.
even do
But
this show, man?
yeah, and it's
That's
sad, man,
funny.
because he was a really good fit, and he was really talented, and he got the material down like that, you know. So it's a shame, but no hard feelings. You know, at the end of the day, he's still a cool guy and shit. But yeah, it's hard when you put time into it, and it seems like it's all gonna go according to plan, and then someone just bails. You know, I think that's probably
Mhm.
one of the hardest parts of being in a band. I don't know if you'll agree with me, but the fact that it is a collaborative effort and you're dependent on other people to pull their own weight, it's all good.
Yeah.
But you are
It's my
dependent on other
mom.
people. Shout out to Peter's mom.
Yeah.
What's going on? Um,
um.
but yeah, the fact that like you could do 100%, but if someone else is doing 50 or 10%, it might bring down the whole project. You know?
Yeah. Well, Bed Study was a 5 piece. Well, it started out just me and Dave.
Hmm.
Then we added my good friend John Paul and bullied Ranson into moving up here. And then we also added another vocalist. And it was, I don't think that anyone particularly didn't, give it their all or anything, but we just found after, a few shows that it was just going to be better to streamline the process.
Yeah,
Um,
and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? And that's not taking anything away from those ex members or nothing. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
just like you said. You sometimes got to streamline it. Maybe you just thought it was a better move, but like for me, um it's kind of taken those things to happen for me to realize that the three of us that have been the consistent members, we've been the ones that are always there, and we're kind of focused on that now, and I think we're gonna go in that direction and
Yeah, it's probably gonna
be a
be
trio.
the first show that we played as a 3 piece, like at Baby's All Right. I'm not kidding you.
Hmm.
Like literally, made the decision. Hey, it's a bit difficult for everyone to make it to practice and yada yada yada. The sound check is taking a minute. I really feel like we're gonna move this different way. I had to have those conversations, which was hard for me. Um, and we practiced for this show at Baby's All Right. We play this show, and a friend of ours, Julie, what up, Julie, and invited like some label people, and like that first show, like we played as a 3 piece, like it just felt better. It worked a little bit better, and that's the one we got signed off of. You know what I'm
Wow,
saying? So it was just like
that's funny how
I
shit works.
Yeah, it really is. So it kind of vindicated the decision for me. Not to say that like really cool big bands aren't awesome, but I think for me, just at the level that we were operating at, where it's like, look, the funds aren't that crazy. Like I can't pay professional musicians to practice, you know what I'm saying, and like learn the material and show up and yada yada yada. Like I don't have those resources, you know, saying let's try and do this as, you know, just the three of us and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like especially when we consider the fact that people are right now really impressed by like just one kid on stage, like with a like an MPC or not even an MPC, a laptop. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like
Miami's a big
Lolo's,
culprit of that with Ultra.
yeah, like a lot of people are doing really well. Like, you know, songwriters too. I'm not talking about like just fake DJs, but like songwriters like Lolo Zuai just like touring the world, you know, off the beats she made on her laptop. And it's just the
Wild.
streamlinedness of it. It's just it makes the branding easy for people like your audience to just like get like I get it. You're Lolo, got it. Boom. Or like this is Bedstudy, 1, 2, 3. That's the lead singer. Got it. Okay, cool.
Right. No, it's a good point, man. And yeah, some of the tracks that we've like demoed out, you know, just ideas we get together and jam as a trio, and we've put some ideas together, and it's been really refreshing, dude, because
Mm-hmm.
with the metal thing, I had just gotten kind of jaded with it. Like outside of playing shows and band practice, I don't ever really listen to metal like as much as I used to. Like I kind of overdid it in middle school every day. Like, nah, man, fuck rap, fuck all that other shit. I listen to metal. That's what I listen to, you know.
Yeah.
And I did it a lot back then, and so now that I discovered a lot of other stuff, and like when you go to a show, you don't play your set and leave. You know what I mean? As a general rule, I like to stick around for other bands. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so I already got to sit through my practice twice a week, my own set. You know, I'm there for it. You know, I'm there. And then you watch your 2, 3, or 4 other friends' bands, and by the end of the night, it's like, man, I heard 10 metal bands today. I'm kind of good for the next 2 weeks. You know, and so I just find myself going back to Tyler, Earl Sweatshirt,
Yeah.
The Strokes, chiller
Yeah.
stuff. And as a trio, it's easier to write shit like that than when you got a
Uh-huh.
keyboardist and you got one dude who only listens to Iron Maiden, and it's like, bruh, there's other bands out there. You know what I mean? There's other genres out there, man. Like you don't have to be
Yeah.
Dave Mustaine every song. You know?
Yeah. And there are good guitarists in a lot of different genres, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And Anderson .Paak told me that too. You know what I'm saying? Not that I didn't know that rap had dope drummers, but Anderson .Paak just took it to another level for me personally, like realizing that. And so with this trio, I find it a little more uh like freeing creatively.
Mhm.
You know, I don't feel like, okay, I got to make this beat heavy or we got to yell some shit here. It's kind of like, man, I just
It doesn't feel as formulated, right?
yeah, for sure. It's like, hey, I'm feeling like a funky vibe. Lay some funky shit down. All right, let's do it. And then we just do it, you know?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, man. And it kind of lit that fire again for me. And it's just like, it lit it at the worst fucking time because we can't play shows.
Yeah.
We can't do it. We're just sitting here demoing stuff out. Like, oh, this will sound good. That'll sound good. And I like
Yeah.
that process too. I've come to like that process more because I joined a band that was already kind of established. And so when I joined, they had, hey, we got this EP ready to go pretty much. Like,
Yeah. Now you're part of the build up.
yeah. And I got to input my own flavor to it, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
when a song is done, there's a general structure that needs to be maintained, you know. I didn't want to change everything up being the newest
Yeah.
guy there and whatnot.
Yeah.
But over the years, I've gotten to write my own stuff. That we just did an album. Like I told you, we're sitting on an album right now that's ready to be mastered. That I recorded my drums for it in the studio, and I wrote everything myself. I got to put some input as far as like guitars and shit that I don't play, you know, just like, hey, I think this
Yeah.
would sound cool, whatever, and they take my opinion to heart.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, like music has done so much for me, just outside of even like playing shows and being in a band, meeting people I wouldn't have met, my bandmates, I would have never met them.
Yeah.
And it's just, man, music has done so much for me, bro. Meeting you, doing this podcast,
Yeah, totally.
you know,
It,
it's just it gives me blessings in ways that I can't even express, shit that I probably don't even know, you know.
yeah. It's crazy. Like I totally agree. Like, cause you're like maybe the second or third person to message me, you know, talking about stuff I did so long ago. You know what I mean? This
Hmm.
one dude, uh, messaged me like, hey, hey Peter, like I've been a fan of yours, for 10 years. I'm like, okay, like that made me feel old.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
he's like, my brother and my mom, like we're having a joint birthday celebration for them, and I was wondering if you'd like to come out and play. And for whatever reason, I'm like, yeah, sure, like let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not doing anything. I'm nobody. Like I'll
Yeah.
come out there. And he's talking about it's out in Jersey. I'm like, yeah, cool, like no problem. He's like, I just like, I just got to figure out a way to get there and back. He's like, no worry, I'll send a car. This guy sent like a Escalade or something. Like the driver's wearing like a tux.
Holy
I'm chill.
shit, dude.
I'm chilling in the back seat.
Living it up, dude.
And I went all the way to the Jersey Shore, man. I was out there. I was like, my friends calling me, like checking on me, like, hey man, like, are they cool? Like, you gonna be okay? Are they safe? And then I showed up and it was just like this big happy family and they're all like super chill, and the guy was really cool, and it was just kind of like this thing where just like some dude out there likes your music and has liked what you've been doing for a long time and just wanted to meet you, and this was an excuse to do it. And that's encouraging. Just like, okay, those are the
Definitely,
things.
man.
Yeah, those are the weird things that music provides that are just like, all right, yeah, it makes me feel like somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. In our little world,
Yeah,
you
like,
know, we touch somebody, you know.
yeah, it's cool. It's all good, and we keep up, man. I've been keeping up, making sure his family's all right during all this.
See, and that's maybe that, I don't know, maybe it's just you're such a genuine, like, nice person, man. But for some reason, like, meeting you that day, like, made such a huge impression on me. Like,
That's cool.
yeah, man, it's hard to put. And we actually, Rex gave me and my cousin his number, just being a cool dude, whatever. And you know what I'm saying, don't tell Rex, but we ended up prank calling him like 2 years later.
Ah, love
I,
it.
I forgot what, man. I forgot what we prank called him with, but
That's
we
funny. That's
ended
the
up just
big bro.
we had no other reason to call the dude, but we're like, man, he was so cool. I would love to talk to that guy again. It's like, well, you want to prank call him? It's like, all right, fuck it, sure.
Man,
And
all those guys when they come to New York, all those guys that were on, not all of them,
yeah.
but
For the most part,
that's an all-star team. Like,
those guys are so tight, man. Looking back at the studio sessions that y'all did,
yeah,
man. You
they're an
guys were
all-star team.
so tight, bro.
Yeah, like Rex, for whoever is going to end up listening, Rex was the drummer. He's Wyclef's drummer, and
For real?
yeah, Gio, my brother Gio, the bassist,
Yeah.
is Jay Balvin's bassist.
Now?
Yeah,
That's fucking
and
wild.
Willie, who's funny enough, name is Willie
Keyboardist?
Colon. Willie Colon, the guitarist.
Oh, okay.
He plays Luis Fonsi. That's his guitarist.
Wow.
Hmm.
Damn, bro. So they all making guap.
Those are my bros.
That's
I don't know how much. I don't know if they're doing that good. I know Gio's his sneaker collection has stepped up, but
sick.
yeah, but those are all my brothers. But they just like they're an all-star team.
When you have people that you know like that have connections around the business like that, do you kind of consciously not ask them for favors and stuff, or do you kind of try and poke and prod and, hey, maybe I can get an opportunity here or there?
No, I mean, like, that would seem like goofy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
like what's the opportunity that I would be looking for? If anything, I just want to get back with those guys soon. And I've been sending them, like, me and Gio started a Dropbox folder, and we just like sharing music ideas because we got to follow up vaudeville. That's my secret plan. Is there's going to be
Definitely, man.
there's going to be a little follow up session. So I'm trying to track everybody down and make it happen that way. But I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are my bros. Like, they're gonna show up for me in like ways that your family would. I don't need to ask for, you know, what am
Handouts
I?
or whatever.
Yeah, what am I gonna do if I meet Luis Fonsi? Like,
No,
I don't,
yeah. I'm just,
I
these
don't
are
speak
questions
Spanish,
I ask.
bro. Yeah, don't worry. I don't really
Okay.
worry about it. Yeah.
You know what's funny, man, is I I illegally downloaded your video for Suicide Girl, the studio
Okay.
version, off YouTube, and I had it on like this MP3 thing, MP4 video player type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the ending of that song is so hype. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it starts off so chill and it just ends off like crazy, right? And
Yeah.
so I would show a few friends of mine that were like into heavier music, and I'm like, just wait till the end, bro. Just wait till the
Yeah.
end, bro. You know, and I remember just showing people that song and people being like, oh man, this dude's good. Like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, like I'm telling you, bro, like when I hit you up, I prayed that you didn't think that I was like blowing smoke. You know what I mean? Because like
No.
I was really into your shit, man. Like I listen to Angel a lot. What that
That's
song
crazy.
Angel, that song
Mm-hmm.
Angel, was that written about someone specific, or do you kind of just write songs that are just, this is a theme for a song, I'm gonna write a song, you
No,
know?
no, it was specific. I didn't really like go to college, but around the age that I would have gone to college,
Mm-hmm.
I was really close to um, this girl named Kirsten, and not romantically. It was like very much platonic, but we just got close really fast. We had the same birthday. We're both left-handed, so we just like, like, well, we have weird things in common, like let's hang out all the time. And we would just like goof around and like make music and stuff like that. And then she just kind of like had to move away abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
And her middle name is Angel. So it was kind of like just this response to my friend moving away, really. It comes off like probably, you know, I'm sure I had a little mini crush or whatever.
Like a love song.
Yeah, it comes off probably more of a love song
That's how I took
like
it.
than just
Personally.
like, yeah, totally. You know what I'm saying? But because the love was there, but it was kind of like I don't know. It's like
Just human to
hard.
human.
Yeah, totally. It's
Yeah,
like
man.
someone, like someone I really cared about,
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
like had to leave. Yeah, but her middle name's Angel, so I just like
See how I'm not
couldn't.
creative like that, dude, but you could
Yeah.
feel that you cared about the person through the vibe of the song, and when the drums come in at the end, and you
Uh
do
huh.
the harmonies, and
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it,
and those. Yeah,
it all comes through, the feeling.
yeah, those kind of songs like that one, when I really like something, and I just jump on the phone and I call someone. I'm like, yo, I need to record this right now. I need to like make this happen right now. That was one of them. And there's no drums on there. That's I went to a practice space,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that is just me. Like the what sounds like a hi hat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was wearing Tom's shoes. I think threw some sand on the ground, and I'm just like doing the twist on beat, like.
Wow, for
Yeah.
real? Wow. So
Yeah.
what is that thump then? Is that like
That's
synth
me.
bass? What
No,
is that on?
that was me like stomping on the ground, like using a stomp or a box or something. Yeah.
Yo, that is so cool. I never knew that.
Yeah.
The sound is so good.
Yeah, and just like
You recorded it in Orlando?
uh-huh. Yeah, we had this practice space that was really close to Full Sail that True Finangled somehow like sweet talked the owner of this rehearsal space into like letting us turn it into kind of our office basically.
Shout out to True. Shit.
Yeah, True is a magician, and if I was my age, this makes no sense, but if I was like the age up here
Uh-huh.
that I am now back then I would be talking to you from different circumstances because he really hustled it and he had a vision. I just wasn't mature enough.
Yeah, you know what, man?
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you're doing good things, man. Your music is fantastic. You know what I'm saying? You have a great voice.
thanks, brother.
Yeah, man. It's something that you clearly have a love for, and it comes through in your art. And you just keep doing what you're doing, man, because like you said,
Same.
you do it because you want to do it, and regardless of what comes of it, man, it really is good shit. And I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. For real, for real. Peter, thank you so much for coming, man. Let's get some plugs. Anywhere that they can find your band, any
For
upcoming
sure.
shows you might have next year, and where people can find you on social media, all that, man. Let's get all those plugs in.
Yeah, cool. So my most recent project is Bed Study. That's one word, Bedstudy. and that's it on everything: Spotify, Apple Music, Instagram, Facebook. Bedstudy is the word. So please feel free to holler, and just know that myself personally, Peter Baldwin, I'm also gonna to do my best to release something in the near future. I can't give you a date on that, but I'm gonna put in the work. That's
if you
my
want
vow.
my collab on
That's
it,
my vow.
let me know. I'll lay
Word
down.
up.
I'll lay down something, man.
Some
I do falsettos too. You know,
some
what I mean?
shakers, some tambourine, some falsetto.
I can do that. I can do that.
Word.
No, for real. Like, I would that would be sick as fuck. Just even if I did a little foot stomp on a box for you, man, that'd be cool.
Yeah, man. I'll keep it in mind. Heck yeah.
All right, for sure. Other than that, man, you guys know where to follow me on Instagram at the Throne Podcast with underscores. We're on Facebook. Now I moved hosts recently, so if you want to listen to the show, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts, and we're gonna be on YouTube from now on. So make sure y'all tune into that. If you want to follow my band, it's You're the Band on Instagram. We haven't done anything in a bit, but I just dropped the cover. It's on the Thrones page on Facebook. It's a Mac DeMarco cover. Check that shit out. It's a little, for fun, whatever.
Cool, man.
Again, yo, Peter, man, I can't thank you enough for coming. You're my first remote guest, my first out-of-state guest.
I'm happy to be that for you, man. I'm a little bit upset that I'm not on episode 100, but it's all good.
Come back. Just come back, dude. We'll have you on again.
Word.
If you let me get off the air, man. Thank you guys so much for listening, and make sure you tune in next week when I interview somebody else. Peace. All right, let me get this.
You can't settle down where you wanted. I chase you around, but I'm haunted. I just can't seem to get down to earth with you. This trip that I'm on got me daunted. This trip that I'm on got me daunted. All of the beds I go like a fool, I've been chasing you around, but I can't keep up with the movement. All my friends are like, the hell are you doing? It's the thought of you got me grooving. I wish that my love was alive, just to turn it off, you can turn me on, baby. I feed off the light of the moon. It's a supermoon and I'm into you. All night you deny me attention, and I try too hard, it's got me winded. With a super moon as my witness, just the thought of